Hello, 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 and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, bringing you the latest exclusive breaking news, previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, every Saturday, Friday, uh, special Friday show this week, and interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy. Use promo code WrestlingWithE for 10% off your next purchase. I am, of course, your host, that guy, James J., alongside the leader of Squash Squad, Kaliko Yachts.
I don't even like Cardi B, but I feel like I'm gonna be playing that Cardi B song all weekend.
I know how you feel. Uh, and the American Scooter Dust, who is not here this week, but understandably so. We will continue without him. Hope him best wishes as well. Uh, it is also a great day for wrestling. We're gonna get into the news, but first, last week on this past Wednesday, we did a watch along with Gabriel Fioza and Von Vertigo of their Barry Wrestling title match at the 5th anniversary. So that was a pretty cool little tidbit for SummerSlam weekend, no? But this upcoming Wednesday, we have a brand new interview for you. Griffin McCoy will be on the show, and stay tuned for our Twitter page, Wrestling at Wrestling with E, for a couple more updates soon to come as well. So check that out. Of course, it's a great day for wrestling. Earlier this week, New Japan had their first live event with a crowd at NJPW Resurgence. Did you happen to catch the show, Kaliko?
No, I did not, because I happened to be at a boxing match. But I felt like at the boxing match, I should have been at the show. I
Um,
wish I had been at the show.
well, you should have been because I said I love you with Tanahashi. So yeah, pretty cool.
Damn it.
But and he's not going to make it into the main event again for quite some time. Um, but no, Will Ospreay returned, claiming that he is still the world heavyweight champion, and that he's not going back to Japan, but staying in New Japan Strong. Um, and that he won't be wrestling Takagi, which is an interesting little tidbit, considering he wasn't supposed to be back at all at one point. What are your thoughts on this new development, Kuko?
As far as, man, I'm surprised he even came back, honestly. Like, that is bananas that he came back that quick. We'll see where he goes from here. I mean, of all people coming back, that guy, but I just hope he's healthy enough. That's the main thing. Let's just hope he's healthy enough to do what he does. Or he's smart enough to change his style. That's the number one thing. Will he change his style, and will he be Will Ospreay? Will Ospreay?
We got a little bit of an insider scoop as well. Um, we talked about Max Castro being in some hot water with AEW as of recent. Um, our friend of the show, Scooter's nephew Ryan Dust, had an interesting conversation with Max Castro. And Max actually told him, check me out on the USA channel. referring that he might be going to NXT. What are your thoughts on Max Caster possibly going to NXT, Khalifa?
With all this stuff, you might as well just wait till you see it to believe it. Honestly, I've never been the guy with the dirt sheets, but I always been the guy with the inside stories, like how things were developed to where. But I would hold my reservation until I see his ass there. So once I see him there, trying to do a battle rap or whatever, then I will mark out like hell. Until then, hold my horses.
You think that Max Caster going to WWE is a markout moment?
I wouldn't say mark out, but more like a what the hell. I mean, we need to like change that. Like mark out moments, it should be on a tier scale. So I think mark out would be like, hey, that guy's not supposed to be there. Spice, holy shit, this guy is here. So I think you know what? We should do our own little mark out tier. The Wrestling with E mark out tier.
Yeah, actually, doesn't sound like a bad idea. Speaking of marking out, we're in the midst of the Wrestling with SummerSlam Summer Showdown tournament, and you are very close to. It's very close of it being an all Coleco final.
Talk about a redemption story. Oh, holy shit. I will say this. The summer of Coleco is upon us. Especially considering how busy my black ass has been all summer. I feel like I need this win. I feel like if I get both in the semis, I wouldn't even vote. I just induct them both into the Hall of Fame.
And I mean, yeah, you didn't get out of the first round of WrestleMania, but like, hey, you're finishing strong in SummerSlam, so.
I know. Talk about worst to first, baby. Woo!
Speaking of it's still heavily rumored that CM Punk is going to be on AEW Rampage later today. My question, will CM Punk be on AEW TV tonight, Kalika?
Man, am I the only guy in the world that's like 50-50 with it? Because you kind of want him there because you want to see him, but you don't want him there because you want all the AEW people to be like, oh, you know what I mean? Am I so they could be like, oh my God, we've been let down. And I could just look at them like, first time, huh? But, like, it's one of those things, right? Like, personally, as a CM Punk fan, I would love him there because I'm CM Punk through and through. I'm a Punk guy through and through. So I think that would be the thing. If he's there, I'm happy. If he's not, I'm happy. How about that? Because at one point, AEW was wanting him there, and they said that they ain't got the money to eat. He said that they ain't got the money to even do it. So between then and now, you think that they got the money to do it?
You know, that's a good point. And the last time I heard, AEW was in the red because of the video game that they've been developing, even with, them introduction of 3 different shows.
But being in the red in the first couple of years is a thing because, I mean, any business, you're going to be, the first year you'll be in the red due to the fact that you're spending more than what you're bringing in because you're trying to build, unless you're just like this bona fide company or a bona fide, like unless you have reputation and you open it and it goes from jump. But everything building from the ground up is going to be in the red, especially that first year or two. I think year three is usually the breakout.
But during the pandemic, AEW actually made a profit with just from the TNT contract. So they was at one point profitable. I mean, they still are profitable. Just they're spending more money than they're taking in at this point.
Yeah, and the point is that Daniel Bryan and CM Punk are not like that ain't Max Caster money, nigga. That's like Brock Lesnar money, damn near. Because I feel like Jericho. Because I remember they released a schedule or a salary, and Mox is the highest paid.
Really? Even past Jericho?
Because you got to think, Mox was the hottest guy at the time.
Yeah.
It's about when you can strike, because he had literally left WWE.
Yeah.
Like Jericho, he was out for a hot minute. So, and plus, he's not really worried about the money like that. But a guy like Mox, striking when the iron's hot. A guy like Punk, I would think would want to get paid. A guy like Bryan would want it. He probably wouldn't care about the money so much. He probably would care more about the creative control. So, but he would like to be well compensated. I would say that.
I would think so, but I think Punk is a very creative-oriented guy. But I think if they throw enough money at him, he'll just do it.
That wouldn't be the case, because he'd be back in WWE. If that was the point, if that's the case.
But here's the thing. WWE didn't see that much value in him at the point to give him a Brock Lesnar contract.
I wouldn't say Brock Lesnar, but I would say Cena-esque. A little bit above Cena.
Well, that brings me to my next question. We're saying, CM Punk's AEW bound. He's AEW bound. He's going to AEW. It's still a really good there is a really good possibility that WWE did offer him a substantial amount of money for a Brock Lesnar contract to come in once in a while and do some shit with them. Do you think that is a possibility?
It's only anything's possible. We thought Warrior wasn't going to come back, and that mofo, 20, 30 years later, that mofo came back. So anything's possible. Anything is possible. I wouldn't put it. It's possible, but I don't think it's likely unless it's just a shitload of money. Like, the money would have to be, like, in the shitload.
So, on a scale, we're saying money is more important than creative when it comes to CM Punk.
I would say the money, because keep in mind, like, he's been out of the game for a minute. So, creatively, the world has changed since he, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Has changed since the way that he left. It's changed. How things happen now has changed since he's left. Not saying that he won't be up to snuff, but it's gonna be some learning, regardless of where he is.
No, and with Daniel Bryan, it's more creative than money.
Oh yeah, hands down. Because he just wants to be. Honestly, I think he's done WWE. I mean, there was nothing else going to be left for him to do, because he's done it all. So, where the hell else was he going to go? Grand Slam champ. He's done everything except win the Royal Rumble.
Oh, yeah, that sounds about right.
So, I mean, for him, it's the creative as far as like his character and having good matchups with some solid dudes. And being able to have the time to be able to go home with his wife and kids. So,
Right. I think we'll conclude with the news for now. We're definitely going to want to get into more of those subjects next week on the show, but we have a lot of bigger things to talk about this week. But first, a quick word from our sponsors.
Rogue Energy, the only gaming drink company in the world with 4 unique product lines to suit your task at hand, whether it be juices, shakes, smoothies, and everything else in between. Their low-calorie, no-sugar energy formula is the perfect alternative to sugar-filled canned energy drinks and sodas. Their extreme formula provides the most energy, focus, and sports performance possible. Their hydration line offers focus, ingredients without the added caffeine. Drink it anytime you're thirsty. And their shake formula is so delicious. Who doesn't love a cookies and cream, 0-calorie energy milkshake? First and foremost, they've designed every Rogue product line with performance and effectiveness in mind. It is critical that you look at the nutrition panels of drinks when comparing options. There are countless off brands out there that are presenting low quality, poorly dosed formulas that amount to expensive caffeine water. Every formula they produce is designed with optimal levels of high quality ingredients. Additionally, you won't find a powdered gaming drink brand that dissolves better. No need to have chalky textures in your drink. Their taste profiles are unmatched, specifically designed for gamers, athletes, students, entrepreneurs, people with hectic schedules, individuals with low energy, podcasters who can't shut up, people who are health conscious, and so much more. Great as both a pre-workout and as a coffee energy drink replacement. Specifically designed every Rogue product line to be the best gaming drink on the planet. Rogue Energy, more focus, more wins.
Use promo code WrestlingWithE for 10% off your next purchase. And we are wrestling with NXT Takeover 36. Because we don't have good titles for our takeovers anymore. Because we are just in one place. It's this Sunday actually. And that's kind of weird to have your biggest show. Let me put it this way. It's kind of like having dinner and then having the appetizers afterwards. No, Kaliko?
well, considering the fact that SummerSlam is unusually on a Saturday night, I mean, it's I mean, the scheduling was what threw it off. But I would think that's better for NXT.
But do you think people are less likely to watch NXT because it's not the build-up to SummerSlam and it's, oh, I already watched SummerSlam, I don't really need to watch this?
Not really, because the thing is there's no follow through with SummerSlam. Because after SummerSlam, everybody's leaving and they're going straight back home. So, that's why I think they get it might be a little bit of a dip because of the fact that everybody's going back home. But I think those who will try to make it will try to watch it, like myself. And it's not like WrestleMania weekend or before COVID WrestleMania weekend where we were able to have all this shit in one spot and not have to worry about the shit. But so that's why it's a little different to me. It's a little different, but I think NXT has built the following and reputation that it gets that benefit of the doubt.
And of course, if you're smart, you'll listen to it on the remix, the only live alternative commentary on the internet today. with Scooter Dust on the UNB network. Do not miss it.
Damn right, don't miss it.
Let's get into the matches. The first match out, Walter versus Ilya Draganov for the NXT United Kingdom Championship. Who wins, Khalifa?
My mind is telling me Walter, but my body is saying Dragunov. And the issue is because Walter's been champ for like ever, so he's got to go, right? Like Pete Dunne, we thought Pete Dunne had it for forever. No, Walter had it forever.
Yeah.
So I think it's that time. It's that time. Dragunov.
Karrion Kross versus Samoa Joe for the NXT Championship.
I told you it was going to be for the chip. I told you. I told y'all. It's going to be for the chip. Come on, man. Interesting match up because of the simple fact of what's going to happen with Kross, right? Right.
Because he's already Raw bound.
He is, but
dude, he's wrestling Jeff Hardy. He has a rivalry with Jeff Hardy. He's on Monday Night Raw.
He's there, but it's like 1 foot out the door and 1 foot in the door, right?
Could you say that with Kevin Owens back in 2014?
But Kevin Owens was with John Cena. It ain't like let me put it this way. Kevin Owens' first match, he beat the shit out of John Cena, okay? That ain't the case with Karrion Kross, right?
He lost to Jeff Hardy.
Bingo. So that's my point. And I feel like him being on Raw, he wouldn't have that. It ain't like he's going to get the girl. It ain't like he's going to get the entrance. So wouldn't he want to stay there? And if he does, he would be the champ. I feel like NXT kind of went awkward with that people having multiple reigns with the belt, because usually you get a reign, you're done, and that's like you being the champ was like your graduation. All right, congratulations, you are ready to go, right? Like that's like the degree.
Yeah.
But now, thanks to Samoa Joe and Nakamura, that ain't the case. So blame those two. I'm going to say it's hard. Flip a coin. I'll go with Joe just because of the simple fact that he'll be the first 3-time champion.
I'm going with Joe too because I think Kross is going to Raw and no entrance, no goal, and I think that might actually benefit him on Raw. Because it benefits him because if you noticed on this week's NXT, the people were chanting, "Where is Charlotte?" When you have your top guy out there in a major rivalry, you don't want them chanting for the goal, which is kind of the conversation we had a couple weeks ago on this show. You know what I mean?
True. But the girl was like it wasn't like Miss Elizabeth where she was a moot, right? She was the messenger. And that's where I think it was a problem, because she was essentially like the person who's like, he's coming for you next, right?
True, but I mean, things have changed a lot from the Miss Elizabeth era. I mean, and the whole Randy Savage Miss Elizabeth dynamic was a lot different than it is with Scarlett and Kross. Even with Lana and Rusev at this point, people cared more about Lana than Rusev, and it severely damaged his career.
Because it was based on the Rocky Four shit. If they had not had Lana leave Rusev, then that was the whole point. Like when Lana wanted to be American free and da 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 da, that's where it fucked up. It wasn't like it fucked up because the crowd didn't care. Because the motherfucker came out on the tank by himself. Wasn't nobody going Lana, Lana.
Well, Lana did come out with him, just not out of the tank.
That's my point.
But okay, well, that's another conversation for another time. Let's get into this conversation right now. Raquel Gonzalez versus Dakota Kai for the NXT Women's Championship. Is this your favorite fruit match, Kaliko?
No, because you want to know why?
It's a vegetable?
I'm going to... One, yeah, it is a vegetable. And number two, I think that they're going to give it to Dakota.
Really?
You remember when Evil beat Naito?
Yeah.
And it was mainly because it just felt like a stab in the heart type of deal.
Yeah.
I think this is where it's going to go. And the reason being is because if Raquel wins, there's no more challengers. This builds a rivalry to where Dakota could get the belt and actually achieve something. And then Raquel will get it back.
Yeah, you could extend the rivalry for another 3 to 6 months.
Exactly. Plus, it would make sense for the master, which was Dakota, who knows everything, all her moves, who knows her damn near about as much as she knows herself, to beat her. Physically, I get it. It's a mismatch. But this match is not about physicality. It's personal. And I would give the psychological edge to Dakota.
And I totally get what you mean. But it's not like NXT has done right by Dakota Kai in the past before. She's always been, honestly, the Janetti of this group. The promo on Tuesday, Raquel really gave it to her, and it leads you to believe, oh well, she's got a shot, but it also, if she doesn't win, it just makes her look that much weaker. Not to mention, Dakota had a match on WWE Superstars, it could have been main event. I think it was main event against Alea, and she lost to her. So Dakota is in a weird little flux right now. Wouldn't you say that?
No, because of the simple fact, like I just said, it's personal. And if there was one spot where it would happen, this is it. Honestly, I thought she should have been the person to beat Baszler because I thought it would have been a good face story for her getting her arm broke, coming back, facing her bullies and shit. That was my thought process, but that did not happen. So we are at the point where now she's the heel, turned on her friend. And if she can't get it now, she ain't gonna never get it. That's why I think she'll get it now.
Well,
she has to get it now. This is it.
Like you were trying with Draganov and Walter, my heart tells me Dakota, but my mind tells me Raquel.
Oh, I'm all in on Dakota. All in. All in. I'm all in. All in. Sorry, AEW. All in.
Next match, LA Knight versus Cameron Grimes. If LA Knight wins, Ted DiBiase has to become his butler. And it's for the $1 Million Championship as well. Kaliko, who wins?
I don't know. Because LA. It's kind of weird what they're doing with the belt. Because it almost feels like these two are the only two going for the belt.
Right.
So it would only make sense if Cameron wins the belt to keep this shit going. Granted, they had great chemistry. Like, with the whole Butler bit. It was great. So that's why I think it would continue. So I'm going with Cameron Grimes to the moon, baby.
I feel like it has to be Cameron Grimes this point. Or they're just Dakota Kaiing him at this point. If he...
Hey, don't talk about Dakota like that.
You know they SANADA her just as much as they do SANADA.
No, nobody SANADA as much as SANADA.
Yeah, it has to be Cameron Grimes. And I'm not entirely sure, but I think this might be the main event of the show. Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole in a 3 stages of hell match. Technically 2 out of 3 falls, but the other one, the former sounds more dramatic. The first fall to traditional wrestling match. Second, street fight, if necessary, which it probably is. Steel cage match. Who wins, Kaliko?
Cole wins the wrestling. Riley wins the street. And this is where it gets interesting because is Cole staying? Should he stay or should he go?
If he's going to the main roster, he might lose the match. If he's going anywhere else, he's still probably going to lose the match.
Yeah, because there's rumors that he's going to AEW, which is weird. Granted,
it's going to be a packed motherfucking roster on AEW. CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Adam Cole, Bray Wyatt.
And my point is, like, 3 shows. You got 3 shows and you still ain't going to have enough. Because somebody getting kicked to the curb. So I'm going to go Adam Cole. He goes to the main roster, baby.
I say O'Reilly wins the traditional wrestling match. Cole wins the street fight. O'Reilly wins the cage match. O'Reilly for the win. Because if Adam Cole is moving up, whether it be the main roster or leave to AEW, he's gonna need. He can't leave on a win. He has to he has to leave on a loss, right?
Yeah, I see that point.
Especially if you're going to build Kyle O'Reilly to wrestle either Samoa Joe or Karrion Kross for the NXT Championship. Or just go for the NXT Championship.
But I think that ship sailed, though, because when he lost the 5-way, it sailed. To me.
True, but that doesn't necessarily mean that Kross will be champion in a couple months down the line. It doesn't even mean that Joe's going to be the champion if he wins it. What I'm saying is, it seems like they're building Kyle O'Reilly so people can believe that he is a main event player and hold that NXT banner. What it looks like to me, anyway. Kaliko?
It just depends, man. It's just weird how they're gonna go from here on out. I'm just hoping, but it just depends. If O'Reilly wins, that would mean Karrion would win, right? Because it wouldn't make sense for Joe and O'Reilly.
I mean, it wouldn't not make sense.
I mean, because O'Reilly and Cross kind of had that little stare down a while back, but they never really got the one-on-one, so that's why.
Well, we'll see what happens when it happens. We'll have a review of this show next week. Until then, we'll conclude our coverage of NXT Takeover 36. And we are wrestling with WWE SummerSlam. In short, the Cardi B song Now. It's this Saturday, tomorrow, however you want to chop it down. And what we're being told, this is the WrestleMania that we were supposed to have this year. Do you think that there's any weight to that, looking at this card, Kaliko? Nope, I think we may have lost Kaliko. If he was even really here to begin with.
I'm alive. I'm here.
Hey, you're alive. Okay.
Hey, there we go. SummerSlam. I heard that. We are wrestling with SummerSlam.
What I was saying was, this is supposed to be the WrestleMania we were supposed to get this year, but it's happening now. Do you feel, looking at this card, that there's any weight to that?
No, because SummerSlam always been like the second baby. So to me, it's always the wrestler SummerSlam, as I say. The wrestlers SummerSlam. So we cannot wait.
Alright. And our first match out is Alexa. Oh, and if you're smart, listen to it on the remix with Scooter Dust on the UNB network. Do not miss it. The first match out, Alexa Bliss versus Eva Marie. And if I'm being honest, this is a match made in heaven. No, Kaliko?
Yeah, it's stupid, but I get why they're doing it. But well, I mean, Eva has to win, right?
Eva Marie is not capable of having a good match. And Alexa Bliss can't have too physical of matches because, she gets injured easily. So this kind of plays to both of their strengths, no?
Yeah, but I don't think it'll be more of a match. It's more of it'll be like more of a scare tactic type of deal.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why.
So you're going with Eva Marie?
She has to. They did all that hype with her back. She's got to win. And Alexa is in that damn thing like Bray where wins don't matter. But
I disagree. I think they have to go with Alexa. She's Alexa.
She's awesome, but she's also Teflon. And do you think Eva, put it like this, she already got heat. Think of the heat when she beats Alexa. That's what it is. That whole building will be. That whole building will riot. That whole building will riot.
I feel like that's Matt Cardona winning the GCW title seat, and not something WWE wants.
That's what they want. That's what I just said.
We'll see. Next match, Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal. Who wins, Felicia?
Interesting matchup, but Jinder, no? I mean, Drew's been untouchable, but Drew's not going to go to the title anytime soon, at least until Lashley loses it. So he's got to be busy somewhere.
And let me ask you this. You think they're going to make their top babyface, Drew McIntyre, lose on the second biggest show, since even though he lost at WrestleMania?
That's my point. They had him lose at the biggest show at WrestleMania. He ain't
Right.
Yeah. Because I've seen it happen in person. And it's not like, you know, if he does win, it'll be like DQ or some crazy shit.
I feel like Drew McIntyre has to win, but, you know, I always say SummerSlam is the heels WrestleMania, because the heels always win.
Yeah, that's why I said Jinder. That's why I say Eva's going to win, Jinder's going to win. It's going to be... Yeah.
I might have to change some of these picks. Edge versus Seth Rollins. I feel like if there's going to be one babyface that wins, Edge would be the one, considering he lost his last, 2 matches?
Yeah. I mean, that's the only person you could see it, other than maybe Charlotte. Or Nikki. Nikki might win. But we'll go down there. We'll go down the roster. We'll go down.
United States Championship match. Sheamus versus Damien Priest. Does Priest get rewarded for working with Bad Bunny at SummerSlam, Kalika?
He would have to, right? Because Sheamus needs that nose. I mean, he's been wrestling with it, but I feel like Priest was in limbo. Like, people thought him like in the Keith Lee status. So I think him winning in Vegas, I think that'd be dope. They got to have some hero win the title. Because I feel like it's all heels. Except for Nikki Ash and Bianca Belair.
I'm gonna say...
No, it's like holding belts, holding titles.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna say Sheamus actually retains. Let's see Priest chase a little bit longer. SmackDown Tag Team Championship. The Usos versus Rey and Dominic Mysterio. Who wins?
Usos. Next. And don't get me wrong, I love them, but Usos next.
Raw Tag Team Championship match. AJ Styles and Omos versus Randy Orton and Riddle.
Interesting. This is the interesting part.
I feel like the faces, and if you could actually call Randy and Riddle faces, this would be the
face
match.
team? Yeah. It's almost like... But the question is like, what's going to happen to Omos to where he can't compete and AJ loses? Because it has to be AJ getting the pin, right?
Yeah.
So That's going to be the interesting part. Where does that work? Because honestly, I really wanted Arcade Bro to keep going New Day due to the fact that it was slowly but surely changing Riddle's demeanor.
I give it to you.
And that's where he was just gonna be what Randy was, and then Randy hits it. But hey, can't get what we want, can we?
Well, I mean, if Randy and Riddle win, they can continue a rivalry with the New Day. I feel
They
like
can, but I feel like Omos and AJ would get the rematch, and Dago.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you could essentially toss a coin for this match. It could go either way, and it would benefit anybody for it, right? It would benefit Riddle and
Orton, yeah.
because of their what they got going on, and it would benefit Omos and AJ because Omos gets a little bit more experience.
Yeah. So it's just a matter, unless it just goes off wonky, and then they have to do a rematch on Monday. I swear to God, I feel like one of these are going to have a wonky finish, and it's just a matter of who. And I wouldn't think, and I feel like if Orton and them lose, it wouldn't hurt them, and they would get the rematch Monday and win.
We will see. SmackDown Women's Championship match: Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks.
Follow me.
Oh, buddy. Yeah. I feel like this is Sasha.
I think so too.
Because I feel like Payback's about to be a bitch.
You sure? Yeah.
Right? Am I the only one?
No, I agree. It would make sense for, storyline purposes. And I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, Sasha doesn't have a major win at a Big Four preview.
What is this for?
No, not that I know of. Now I have to look it up. I think she did, though.
Well, it definitely wasn't at Mania.
It was not at. I know it wasn't at a. Wait. Yeah, she's winless at Mania.
Yeah.
It had to be SummerSlam.
CJ, come here.
It has to be.
CJ,
I believe she has to have. I'm now you got me looking, because now I'm about to figure this shit out, because oh god damn.
I feel like this is.
I know she has more. I know she got more L's than wins. I know that, but I'm trying to think where. No, I don't think she won at SummerSlam.
No.
But then again, neither has. Well, she never had a big win at SummerSlam. Right? Like.
No, she hasn't.
Because 2016, she lost to Charlotte. 17, she beat Bliss. She beat Bliss in 2017. I knew she had one.
All right. Well.
So she got one, but I feel like to keep it going, it has to be.
Right.
Because you would think her coming back, she comes back with a different strategy.
And let's take it to our next match: Raw Women's Championship match. Nikki Ash versus Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. Who wins, Kalika?
Interesting. I'm gonna go with Nikki. No, they put too much in her.
I feel that way too.
Nikki pins Nikki pins Rhea's for the pin, because I wouldn't be surprised Charlotte took the pin because she's Teflon. But the story is Charlotte and Nikki. So the pin on Rhea to keep her away.
I got
And where is Asuka? Where the fuck is Asuka? God damn it. I always ask.
I think it has to be Nikki. That brings us to our next match. Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg. Does it
Lashley, come on, man. Do we even have to? Yeah, no. We just, yeah. Yeah.
That brings us to our main event. Universal Championship Roman Reigns versus John Cena. Who wins?
Roman, come on, man. That's another one. Come on, bro. It's bro.
Now, this is another thing. Do you see? Because
Oh, you didn't go over one more either. Seth versus Edge.
I did go. We did do Edge and Seth.
Did you? I did not pick. I think I went with.
You went with Edge.
Yeah, we did because you said Edge. Yeah. Yeah, Edge. Damn it. See?
We would ultimately say that Roman and Lashley are heels, and those are your two main event matches. Do you think because you're going home maybe disappointed with Roman Reigns winning the championship, that they would be a more babyface heavy undercard? Because we've been talking about, how SummerSlam is the WrestleMania of the heels.
But I think it's a win for both in the fact that they had this match 4 years ago at No Mercy in LA, and I was there. And it was fuck both of these guys, what the crowd was chanting. So they came a long way. So think about it from that perspective. It went from that match to everybody was like, oh my God, to this being like the hottest match on that card.
So, other than the two main events, it kind of seems like we're kind of still, picks could change between now and tomorrow. Would you say that's a fair assessment?
Said things could change now between now and tomorrow. Nah, Summer Cena, nah. Nope. Roman's keeping.
Right. And we will have a review of that show next week. I believe we will be on Saturday once again, but our regular scheduled program. Until then, listen to SummerSlam on the Remix on the UNB network. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, both on YouTube and Castbox. Join us this Wednesday as we interview Griffin McCoy. And follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Wrestling with E for all your wrestling with entertainment needs. You can also This show is sponsored by Rogue Energy. Use promo code WRESTLINGWITHE for 10% off your next purchase. And you can find us individually on Twitter as well. I am at JamesJ993. Where can they find Kaliko?
I mean, if you could find me, because I'll be laid out somewhere. I am Kaliko, if you could find me. If I'm not found getting drunk somewhere with James.
Oh, I thought I won't be drinking, but I will be there. And,
Oh, you drinking if I catch you. If I catch you, we having one. So you might as well you might as well get prepared. I don't care if it's a Shirley Temple. I'm catching you, we getting it.
you will find me avoiding Kaliko in Las Vegas at JamesJ993. And of course, you can find Scooter at Scooter Dust on Twitter. For Kaliko Yachts, Scooter Dust, I'm James Shea, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.